Well, we're doing chores this afternoon. My mother's spending some time with the little girl, and got other employees helping us here this afternoon, so I'm doing chores at the back of the barn here. We're gonna feed these heifers and bend them up. Then we're gonna go move cows around for afternoon milking here, and gonna feed and scrape and get on with our chores here. Come in here and use this hand scraper to scrape this manure out of the corner here. Can't get the scrape tractor back in here. We still scrape with a scrape tractor on this farm. It's usually plugged in the winter time, but Morgan already undid that, so we're gonna get started here and start doing the first round of scraping here for evening chores. Alright, well that concludes the first round of scraping here. We're gonna go back here in the feed room and continue feeding these cows here. Now you guys can see that clear across the barn, but what I was just doing was running the feeder to where it would cycle to where it was headed back to the east. These feeders sometimes in the wintertime can get frost buildup on top of the cable that actually drives that thing. When you turn it on, for some reason if they're headed west, it's just too much resistance for that thing to want to come back. So if you have them headed to the east, they'll seem to turn on and run. So we're done dumping our last batch of feed that was run for this evening here. So both groups, the high and low group of cows here, are fed for this evening. Now we're going to go ahead and run one more batch for tomorrow. So that way Dad has feed first thing in the morning. So our first ingredient we have on our list here, if you can look over here, we have a balanced ration here, and this is our number of cows we feed for. You got 56, 58, and 60. We're feeding for 60 cows right now. And so we need baled hay. We need 45 pounds of that. We've shut our mixer door. We've zeroized our scales. I'm going to come over here, and breaker number 30 and 32 on here is our baled hay. We need 45 pounds. Oh, it's going to get me. Well, we ended up a little bit over. That happens occasionally. So, like I was talking about the other day during our hoof trimming, we need to make sure that our cows have a balanced ration. So since I went over 5 pounds here, this is baled hay. So what we can do here is now this number needs to go up 5 pounds because this is grain. So we'll go ahead and come over here and turn our grain on, which is 18 and 20 here. We'll turn it on, let that run. That's going to run for a minute. Anyways, both these ingredients here, baled hay and haylage, are both hay products. So since I went over 5 pounds on this baled hay, I need to add 5 pounds here to this grain number. It's a running total. But since this is also a hay product, I don't need to add 5 pounds here. I can make this 900 even like it's supposed to be for 60 cows. And so I'll actually end up getting 5 pounds less of haylage, but I went over 5 pounds on my baled hay, so that'll balance out. It's important to keep your cows having a balanced diet. You don't want to get their feed rations off or anything like that. That can affect a lot of things, their health mainly, but milk production, their breeding cycles and stuff like that, their feet. You know, if you get too much starches and stuff in their feet or their feed, it can actually mess up their feet. And like we were talking about the other day with our cows, we want to make sure that they have healthy feet so that they're going to want to get up and go get something to drink and something to eat. That way they stay healthy. And so we're going to keep on running our feed ration here. Breakers 10 and 12, that's going to be our 60-foot hay silo here. So there's 3 silos, upright silos on this farm. This one in this feed room here is actually the 60-foot hay silo. We got a 72 and an 80-footer straight outside this door here. Right now we're feeding out of the 72-footer. We have 2 corn silage silos on this farm. We also have a couple ag bags out here. One of them is haylage and the other one's corn silage. This is our mixing system we have here. It's a stationary Pat's TMR mixer. And we have some conveyors and such going out here. And we have two belt conveyors out there for our feeders. And it's just a system that's been in place here for a while. This stationary mixer, this particular one we put in, and actually first day service is written on there as being 11/27 of 2013. We've always had stationary mixers here on this farm. We don't have a fancy drive-through feed barn. Just the buildings we have here already in place, it doesn't work to have a drive-through feed system here. It'd be a little bit more handy sometimes of the year, but you know, we use what we have here. And so we have a number of different ingredients that end up going in here. You've got your baled hay, your grain, haylage, you have QLF, which is quality liquid feeds, which is like a molasses type feed. And then you have corn silage. And all this ration is balanced by nutrition. We actually use Ellie Summers for our nutritionist. And we buy our ingredients for our grain that we mix here from them. And they have a nutritionist there that balances our ration and make sure our cows stay healthy off of what we're feeding them. That way they can produce good quality milk and also be healthy. You know, it's important to keep your animals healthy. So we got 900 pounds we need out of this silo here. And so we're gonna keep running this thing here until we get our number we want. And then we'll go ahead and shift this thing into gear and turn it back on and go ahead and mix our QLF and then on to corn silage. Kicked on our silo conveyor here. This long conveyor here that runs out along these silos here. This is a 72-foot silo right here. You can look way up. She goes up there a little ways. That's the 80-footer down there on the end. These 2 silos here are both corn silage silos, and that's that 60-footer over there that's got our haylage in it. So just kicked on our corn silage here. We're going to go ahead and finish out this ration and put hay back on our hay conveyor up here, and going to pack up at least for this job. Well, there we go, folks. Feed's run for tomorrow morning. Everything's shut off. Those silos are running. Those are our amp gauges to know that everything there is off. QLF's off. Breakers are off. I'm gonna go put hay on the conveyor and move on to the next job. Well, we're done feeding now, so we're gonna go clean up around the feeding bunk at the West Farm. We got good frozen ground today. Doesn't sound like we're gonna have that after the next couple of days. Sounds like it's gonna rain, so I'll go ahead and go clean that up while we have the opportunity here. is what we refer to as the West Farm. We refer to it as that because it's on the west side of Honeytown Road. We farm mainly off of Honeytown Road here. So I'm gonna go in here and move some of these gates around and gate these heifers off so they stay out of our way here while we clean this up. These are our breeding age heifers over here. So we're gonna clean up around this bunk some. Dad's in here every morning going down along that bunk over there into that feed room, and there's a silo here and a taper board feeder there, and feeds over here every day, so he's got to walk around in here, and gets kind of sort of dicey walking around in here once this manure gets to a certain depth of thickness. You know, can easily roll an ankle in here. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up here a little bit and go spread it on the field. This stuff into this spreader here, and I'm going to take it off here into the field to the west here, and go ahead and get rid of it. Spread it, and that'll be fertilizer for next year's crops. Well, Dad's coming back now with the skid steer. You can see, just got back in from spreading that load. Camera ended up dying on me and I didn't have another battery on me, so sorry you guys didn't get to see that, but I guess probably gonna end the video here. Got a few more things we'll probably get into for the day, but I think that's probably about all we're gonna film for today. So as always, I appreciate you guys stopping in and checking out the channel and watching what we got going on. If you like what you see, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, God bless.